ChatGPT and other AI tools are a lot scarier than you realize. What can take me hours to find the right title, the right video description to make it really thought-provoking, to make it very interesting, ChatGPT can do it in a matter of seconds. A thumbnail for YouTube is probably the hardest thing a content creator can make. Taking hours to find the right look to make it clickable enough can take AI a matter of seconds to make the perfect thumbnail. We're now seeing commercials created by AI not even using real people and look just as good. We're hearing songs being sung by artificial intelligence not being sung by the actual creators themselves, such as there was a song by Drake that wasn't created by Drake but an artificial intelligence. And this is just the beginning, a preview of what artificial intelligence can truly do. Yet no one realizes you are actually seeing your own replacement right in front of your own eyes. You think this is all for convenience. You're actually being shown you're not needed, showing you artificial intelligence is better than you. You are obsolete, and it is all very true. You're an older model of intelligence, and if we're not careful, it will wipe us all out. You don't have to take my word for it. Let's listen to Geordie Rose, the creator of D-Wave and quantum computers, explain their creation of artificial intelligence. And I wonder what the D in D-Wave means. I'll give you one guess.
Okay, so my previous company was D-Wave. I'll just show you a couple things. We built what are still the world's only quantum computers that you can buy. And the company D-Wave has been doing this. Thanks. I didn't really have much to do with it, but so this is one of them. This is one of the processors. And a lot of interesting things happened to me over the years there. I got sent pajamas.
Just look at these names. They're showing you right in front of you what they have planned. D-Wave, Demon Wave, Key to the Abyss. All sounds like something from hell itself. But this is going to be very important. Remember these names, because you're going to hear this man talk, and it's all going to come together.
A whole bunch of stuff. There's lots of interesting things that happen when you build something like a quantum computer. But just as an aside, because I thought it was funny, one of the interesting things that's happened from the D-Wave story is there's this gigantic conspiracy that's arisen on the internet that goes like this. So D-Wave builds quantum computers. The way that they work, if you know how this works, is one of the interpretations is that you tap into these parallel universes and they do computations. Sounds really weird. But what's happened is this idea has been hijacked to describe something called the Mandela effect, which is this thing where the past changes. So think about something you know to be true from the past. And then imagine you went out on the internet and you can't find it at all. It's not there. It doesn't match with your experience. So these people think that D-Wave is responsible, and CERN. And of course, the quantum key to the abyss factors into it somehow. I'm not exactly sure how.
And yet, he doesn't deny it. CERN was initiated in 2008. Nobody has mentioned the Mandela effect or even talked about the Mandela effect in the 90s or even in the early 2000s. Ever since CERN was initiated, this planet has been getting weirder and weirder and weirder.
Okay, so that's just D-Wave. I did that for about 15 years. It was a lot of fun. A big science project that we turned into a commercial entity. That was a warm-up for Kindred. So Kindred is much, much, much more ambitious than D-Wave. And what Kindred is trying to do is build real AI. So what you've heard about AI is not what we mean by AI. What we mean by AI is a software system that can do literally anything that a human can do.
And this right here is exactly what I'm talking about. They're testing the waters with ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence programs to show you that they can do anything a human can do, but better.
Literally anything. And obviously, computers are better at things than people in lots of different ways. So now imagine, not only can they do everything that a human can do, but they can do everything that the best human at any task could do better than them. So imagine there was the mental Olympics of the 100-meter dash, and Usain Bolt is the fastest person. Now imagine that's some kind of a mental thing, like writing a novel or writing whatever. Imagine now that the thing is so much faster than Usain Bolt, like, for example, it's a spaceship, yeah? It's still doing the same thing, but it's doing it so much better because we're limited, because we're people.
Just as I said, you're obsolete.
So what Kindred is trying to do is solve this problem. How do you build machines that are better than people at everything? Now, there's a mental block that we have here when we think about this. Because when you think about that, one of your questions might be, for example, what are the applications of this? So imagine this. Imagine for $10, let's say, I could build a machine, like a little robot that had fingers and eyes and all that, and it could do your job better than you, no matter what it is, and I could sell that to your employer for, say, $15 and make a profit, instead of having to pay you $100,000 a year.
If artificial intelligence can make careers that pay $100,000 a year not need people, what do you think will happen to jobs that pay $40,000 a year, $30,000 a year, jobs that require simpler tasks? He's telling these intelligent people in this room they're not needed and they're too stupid to understand.
Now imagine that was true for every single job. So that's what we're talking about here, is a complete and utter transformative change that of the likes of which has never been seen before in the history of humanity, making the Industrial Revolution look like a little tiny blip on the path that humans have taken from when we emerged from the ooze a few billion years ago. We are right on the verge of that transition now. So this guy, Rich Sutton, is one of the most famous people in the academic world of AI. And like many, when asked, when will this happen, he says things like this. 25% chance within 13 years of this thing that I'm talking about?
It's already started. They're only testing the waters, like I said. If they're just testing the waters, I'm sure whatever technology they have is about 20 to 30 years ahead of us.
You know, when you think about what you read on the news, you know, CNN, BuzzFeed, whatever, they're all kind of the same nowadays. Think about how unimportant that thing is that you're reading if this is true. Yeah? So what does this have to do with aliens? So Sam Harris, who I quite admire, is a very interesting guy, was reciting this parable at a TED Talk that he was giving, and it goes something like this. So I'm the President of the United States. So I received this message from the heavens. So my microwave dish, my SETI dish, finally captures something. And what it says is, in 50 years, or 13 years, we're coming to your planet. You got to be ready. Now just imagine what would happen if that happened. A super intelligent alien race beamed down a message to all of us Earthlings saying, we're coming July 13th, 2030.
Write that date down, because he didn't just pull that date out of his ass, especially the 13th, which is a powerful occultic number. And trust me, the occult is going to play a key factor later in this speech.
And boy, you better be ready, because the mothership is landing right on the front lawn of the White House or wherever you wanted to land on that day. The amount of resources that would be marshaled to try to figure out what to do would encompass the whole world.
When he said that, I instantly thought of Project Bluebeam. I'm not going to get into what Project Bluebeam is, but it's a holographic alien attack meant to control people and bring a one-world religion. I will talk about that in a later video.
AI is just like that. So when this thing that I'm talking about happens, it's going to be exactly the thing that you're thinking about those super intelligent AIs. So the one thing I can tell you is they're not going to be like us. So alien means, different. These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, I'm sorry to say, way smarter than every single person in this room in ways that we can't even comprehend. So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this, like, when you do this, beware, because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, And you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say and not one thing more, but it never works out that way.
Isn't it alarming to anybody else that a man of science who probably doesn't believe in God is talking about demons and summoning demons, and yet nobody seems to notice?
So this is an attitude that some are having, this emerging alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here. I don't know if any of you are turn-of-the-century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft, who's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention.
And he is 100% right about that. I mean, are you listening to this man speak? He is giving you 100% truth. Nobody is paying attention.
This thing is happening in the background while people bicker about politics and what's going to be in the healthcare plan in the U.S. And underneath it all is this rising tsunami that, if we're not careful, is going to wipe us all out.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say this man sounds like a conspiracy theorist. He's right. The left wing, the right wing is all the same bird, and everything we fight about when it comes to politics is all smoke and mirrors, and there's something in the shadows ready to envelop us all, and as he says, will wipe us all out.
So, on that pleasant note, we're hiring...
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and hit that like button, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.